Melanesian sounds.
Yes. Je luistert nog steeds naar Radio Melanesian Sounds hier op Double OG Radio, zeggen we altijd, op deze hele fijne zondagavond. En waar we nu naartoe gaan is naar onze gast van vanavond, die een hele mooie voordracht heeft gegeven tijdens de uitzending. We gaan naar Nikki toe. Voordat we dat gaan doen, moet ik jullie even op de hoogte brengen van iets. Dit interview wordt namelijk niet in het Nederlands gehouden. Voor de luisteraars, wees maar niet bang, het wordt ook niet in het Maleis gehouden. Maar het wordt in het Engels gehouden. En ja, ik neem aan dat jullie allemaal wel Engels kunnen. En als dat niet zo is, ja, tough luck. Wij gaan even lekker naar het Engels. Nikki, welcome.
Hi, hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm very impressed by the poem you did for us. It was impressive.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Where did you get the inspiration for that?
The first idea I had for this particular piece was actually I was meditating right by the water near where I live. And I was meditating for around 10 or 15 minutes. But I noticed after when I opened my eyes, I was just noticing how the surface of the water that particular moment just looked very different to how I'd seen it look before. And that, for some reason, image stuck in my mind. And this was when I was thinking about what to write for the topic that we discussed, freedom. And for me, freedom very much goes in hand with dancing, with movement of the body, with a kind of nonverbal communication that the body can kind of exhibit. That the body can kind of exhibit in a nonverbal way. And I feel like dancing in itself is a very nonverbal way of expressing freedom. And then I personally feel like there is a lot that nature can teach us.
Yeah.
And I was sort of thinking along those lines when writing this particular poem. And I kind of just thought, how can the two connect? And and I was sort of trying to also put some feeling in the poem there, because I like putting a lot of personal feeling, a lot of personal expression in the poem, because I personally feel that putting personal feeling tends to make my poems stronger. That's what I tried to incorporate in this particular piece. And I also, at the end, wanted to kind of give a sort of rounded out...
maybe towards the freedom of water.
Yes, a little, exactly, towards water, and but how water is also a metaphor for bodies, for skin, for how it moves, it kind of,
And just to clarify for the people listening at home, I had a sit down with Nikki before the show, and I gave some information about the show and about that we represent the freedom, especially for the people in Maluku, the people in West Papua. And that's something that you used for your poem, of course. Mm-hmm. And doing this poem here on the radio, what was that like for you?
It was nice getting that extra context that you gave me for this radio station before before performing the poem, because I did have that in mind when performing my poem, and it kind of gave I kind of had a different sort of how do I say that? A different sort of calmer feeling, or different sort of feeling that I was taking into mind the audience, the listeners, when I was performing my piece. So yeah, that did affect my piece, and I did keep that in mind.
Well, that was really good, and it also captivated the entire theme. Calling freedom a theme is not really a right thing to say, of course, but it really captivated that momentum that we're discussing right here. And is this something you would see yourself doing in the near future as well? Coming back here at the studio or maybe somewhere else?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely a very different experience.
Because you're used to performing.
Yes, I've performed a few times I used to live in Amsterdam. I performed there. A few places here where we currently are, Groningen in the Netherlands. So I'm more used to performing in front of people, and I say used to, but of course I always get the social anxiety that comes with that. Which
makes sense, standing in front of a group of people.
It's very vulnerable, yes. Yeah, this was a very different medium where I could focus more on my my presentation of of how I delivered the poem in a very different way than I hadn't thought of before when performing in front of people. Because I feel as though when you perform in front of people, you think more about how is your appearance going to be perceived by everyone. And here, this different medium kind of gave me more focus on, okay, what kind of tone am I going to deliver the poem in? How is it going to sound? And how am I going to deliver some intonation on certain words, or how...
All you have to focus on are the words and the way you deliver it. You don't have to think about outer appearances or anything like that.
So that gives a different focus. Indeed, yeah.
And also, just to clarify for the people listening at home, now you've mentioned you lived in Amsterdam before, but you're originally from the United States.
Yes.
Also the reason why we're doing this in English.
Yeah, yes. I can speak Dutch, but my English is better. Especially for such a public medium.
Gronings? What about Gronings?
I don't. Gronings.
Don't worry, we're not going to do that.
Okay. But yeah, no. So I grew up the majority of my life in the U.S. Until I was 18 years old. I'm 30 years old right now. So I did move to the Netherlands at a very, very young age. I did not grow up speaking Dutch, but I learned Dutch from a young adult, beginning from 18 to now. Ik kan een beetje Nederlands spreken, maar mijn Nederlands is niet echt goed.
That's why we're doing this in English.
Exactly, yes, yeah.
And do you also have poems in Dutch, or is that strictly English-based?
I have one or two in Dutch, which is very interesting because you have to really, for me, the few times I've written in Dutch, you really have to focus on the words much more so than if I would write in English. It's a different kind of focus for me, I find.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and well, I don't know if you can hear the song right now. The song we have on is it's called Mobilae from the group Brainbox. It's a huge song from the 70s. And in the 70s, there was this, there were different, not different, there were various of Moluccan actions here in the Netherlands. And one of them was in 1977, where 6 people were executed by the Dutch government. And this song is really, how do I say that? It's to give out the emotions, to bring out the emotions of that time period. And it's also about freedom. And I think it really adds to what you were saying in your poem, Let It Be Free Like Water, and the freedom of the body. Mm-hmm. And I think that is something, since the time I've known you, it's like something that's really you. Is like, you got to be able to be yourself in your body and in your own surroundings.
Yeah.
And is that something you use or not use? Is that something you try to bring outward in every poem, or is that just something that?
It's something that I feel like more recently I have been trying to incorporate more in my poetry. So the way that I noticed I was writing before was that I was doing a lot of explaining, being very verbal in my poetry. And I do feel like I was perhaps over-explaining in a way where I feel like poetry can also show instead of telling. And that is something that I feel like right now I'm trying to do more with my voice, with the words and the way my poems go right now. And it's a theme I notice generally throughout my life that keeps cropping up. And I tend to be someone who really focuses on details, really focuses on small things. And I feel like when that happens, I like to do something with it. I like to somehow use it a certain way, especially with words. So I am a very verbal person, but I feel like right now I'm, as I said before, I'm trying to distance myself a little bit more from being more verbal and a little bit more with experiencing and just, letting go and kind of let experiences come to me and tell the experiences in that way.
Well, that's good. Yeah. It also personifies you. It's who you are, you know, so that's a very important thing. And now, I say, let's round this up for now. We're going to listen to a few songs, and if there's still time, we're going to circle back to you. And I'm going to finish this off in Dutch for the people. And anyway, thanks for being here for now. And
yeah, you're welcome.
You're going to be on the show a lot more, I hope. So much. Because those poems, they really stick, you know. There's a message in them. And I think that's really important for people to hear that message. Not just about the Radio Melanesian sounds, but also you. Just let people know who you are and giving you a platform so that people know where to find you. And speaking of that, real quick, where can people find you? So right now I have one platform for my poetry at the moment. I publish everything via a public Instagram account. And that Instagram account is called Flying Bird Calls. You can find me there. And I will be posting more if you're interested. So, okay. Yeah. Well, add her, add Nikki on Instagram. Don't be shy, just follow. And we'll definitely follow you here at Radio Melanesian Sounds. And you're welcome whenever you want, of course. For now.
Het geluid van Groningen. Radio Melanesian Sounds.